So when it comes to Neville's ladder experiment, which is basically imagining yourself climbing up and down a ladder inside yourself, and that's essentially what it is. But there's a distinction that needs to be made when it comes to Neville's ladder experiment that I think that needs to be emphasized on. But before I get to that, I just want to say that I've tried the ladder experiment and it did work for me. But that wasn't the first thing I tried it with. I tried it actually with money. And then I tried it with just different, just strange objects that I normally wouldn't see. And then I did do the ladder experiment and it did work. But for me, the ladder experiment worked in a way where I didn't realize until like an hour later, I remember that I imagined it. And it happened in such a natural way where it was similar to the stories I've read where someone just asks you to climb the ladder for them to do something. That's exactly what happened to me, but I didn't think about it till later. But the distinction that needs to be made is this. So he tells you to grab take your imaginary right hand, place it on the ladder, and take your other hand, your other imaginary left hand, and put it on the ladder, and then take your right leg, your imaginary right leg, and place it up on the ladder, and then you start climbing up and down a ladder. Now, the difference that happens, this is a key moment in imagination, is are you imagining this so that you can climb a ladder outside of you after? Or are you simply trying to just climb this ladder? Are you trying to get something or are you doing it? That's the difference. If you had to climb a ladder, you wouldn't imagine climbing a ladder so that you can climb a ladder because that leaves you in desire still. So what you do is you imagine climbing the ladder. That's all you do. And again, so the question is, do you believe you are climbing the ladder, not to climb it here in this world, but that you are actually climbing it? So you have to identify yourself with the mental you, the imaginary you that's climbing it. And so once you identify yourself with that, you will naturally just do it. You won't be thinking about getting it. You won't imagine to get anymore. You will imagine to do. You'll imagine to be it in this case. But in this case, the experiment is to climb a ladder. It really has nothing to do with your self-concept, right? Because it just has to do with climbing a ladder. So it's about doing something. So you imagine that you are actually, as Neville said it, you imagine you are actually doing it. That's all you have to do. And it stops right there. You don't go outside and say, well, I'm doing this so that I can get a ladder. I'm doing this so that this can happen. It's really just about doing it on the inside. That's the difference. It's a getting versus doing. And you can feel the difference. One's still left in desire. The other one is actual fulfillment. It's actual fulfillment. One is experiencing the fulfillment, and the other one's trying to get the fulfillment. And that's the key difference in that ladder experiment. If you can apply that to other areas inside of you, that you're no longer trying to get forgiveness or respect or whatever it is, you imagine that it already is that way. The ladder is just your desire. But you don't imagine your desire to get it. You imagine desire already being that way inside of you. So you make it so inside. And that's the key difference. I know I've explained this many times, but it's very important to know that because that is the difference, in my opinion, between success and failure inside of ourselves. That's the difference between us feeling like we did it and accomplished it versus feeling like we still haven't done it yet. That's the key difference. That's what we remain loyal to. We remain loyal to doing it, to being it. That's where, so true loyalty is to the self. So true loyalty is to ourselves. That's what we remain loyal to, but we do it all within. So we don't wait for society to change. We change our state of consciousness within ourselves. We don't wait for things to change. We change. So we do it all from the inside out. And so take this concept, actually try the experiment out. Even if you've already been like a seasoned, I guess you want to say somebody who already understands Neville, has experienced it, applied it, try it again. Just try the ladder experiment. And it's always fun to try and it's fun to test. But when you do it, especially if you're new, try to see the distinction I'm seeing inside is that there's a big difference between trying to get the ladder versus just doing it in imagination, just climbing it. And you'll see the stress is gone. The anxiety is gone because you're not focused outside of you. You're focused on what's happening in you.